The media illiteracy devil has struck again. Look, when I first read chapter 229 this morning, I thought it was a great chapter. I thought it had a nice heartfelt moment, and it had a nice build up at the end, a nice little cliffhanger, if you will. And unfortunately for me, I forgot that my opinion is stupid, and I need to go on Twitter and realize how wrong I was. Lucky for me, I hopped on Twitter, and I realized how stupid my opinion was, and I needed to learn from my mistakes by learning that this chapter sucked. Fujimoto needs to put down the pen, and Denji is still a gooner. He has regressed exponentially, and he's about to take advantage of Asa's body. Now that's what I would think if I was dumb, but lucky for me, I read the entire chapter, and I read chapters previous to that. I don't isolate the chapter and read them at face value. Firstly, I want to talk about the Denji panel, because that's just gotten the most fame. Okay, everybody's talking about it. They completely disregarded the rest of the chapter. They're solely focusing on that one panel, which is absolutely ridiculous. Specifically because it is clearly a build-up to something bigger than what he said. Okay, the people taking it at face value, I'm sorry, but you just don't got media literacy or something. You're just not smart, or you're just blindly hating, or you're just a JJK fan blindly hating, which, I mean, I can't hate on that, okay? I can't hate on the hate because I do the same shit, okay? It'd be hypocritical of me to do that. But to the Chainsaw Man fans that are upset about it, I'm disappointed because, frankly, that's just ridiculous, okay? It sucks that Chainsaw Man fans are switching up because of this moment, especially the Asa Denji shippers. Nobody gives a shit about your ship. I'm sorry. Nobody cares, so move on from that. Now, for my Asa Denji shippers that are still here, I'm just saying this is clearly a ploy to something bigger than that, okay? He's not going to take advantage of Asa's body, okay? We're still up. But anyways, this specific Denji panel should not be what garners all this, like, tension and all this outrage, especially considering the fact that it is clearly a build-up to something else. What that could be, I'm not entirely sure yet. If I had to guess, because I'm being optimistic here, it's going to be a build-up to something, to a moment where Denji finally overcomes his hypersexuality. Or he just does it in a way where he can, like, control it in a way. You know, he stops, like he said, he stops sneaking with his dick. But negatively, okay, pessimistically, it could be a character regression case where they just completely assassinate all the development that he had beforehand. But that's how a pessimist think. That's how losers think, okay? Optimistically, like I said, this could be a build-up to a moment where he overcomes that significant problem that he has. Secondly, I want to talk about the sequence that should be getting the attention from this chapter. And that's the sequence between Yoru and Asa, because I thought that was an extremely emotional and impactful sequence right there. Yoru's monologue to Asa was some of the best dialogue that we have gotten in a really, like, long time. Maybe not really long, but in a little while. It's been a while since we got something as impactful as that. Especially with what she says at the end to Asa about how the sins that she thinks are sins are nothing to a devil. That was some of the best writing that we've gotten right there. Okay, something JJK fans don't know about. I'm joking. Am I? I don't know. Seriously though, that is what should be getting the most attention out of this chapter, not that Denji panel that we've only gotten half of the story for. We need the full story to really judge the panel. That's why I'm holding my outrage until next week when we get the full story behind Denji's intention. Because like I said, it could be a character regression or a character development assassination, however you want to put it. But I'm not going to make that decision prematurely like the rest of the people are doing. I'm going to wait till next week so we can see if that are his true intentions. Because we've seen plenty of different situations in the past where characters say they're going to do something, but they have a completely different intention behind it. I mean, that we've seen that everywhere. I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but this is something that we know at this point. So this is mainly directed towards the Chainsaw Man fans that want to drop part 2 or hate part 2 now simply because of this moment. You need to wait until next week to outrage, or until whenever this whole entire situation is resolved to make this outrage, okay? To learn of Denji's intentions before you make this outrage. Because this is all super premature to get mad now and to give up now, simply because of that one panel, which we don't even know the true meaning behind. Because whether or not you're right or wrong about his true intention behind what he said to Yoru right there and to why he saved her, you'll still be prematurely outraged, okay? You were still outraged prematurely because we still need the full story to truly make an opinion and an analysis on Denji. So just wait till next week, okay? Have some patience. I know it's hard to ask, especially given what has happened in the previous chapters with the Locust Devil and with Hell and how goddamn long that fight was. But you have to just let it let this one simmer, because this is the one that I really think is going to lead into something great for Denji. So I'm going to leave it at that. Let's just see what goes next week. I hope I'm right. I think I'm right. We'll see how it goes. If I'm wrong, you can slap me in the face. If I'm right, I don't know, praise me. I'll see you guys later. Bye.